Now let's take a look at two professional analyses, that is, analyses done by professional political commentators on the Bush-Dukakis debates. This is Bush, as he's sometimes called, 41, the older George Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush, the 41st president, when he was running for president against Michael Dukakis. And let's take a look at one evaluation will be done, as you can see, by a man named James Kilpatrick, who was a conservative commentator, by the way. It says Bush on points, so you can see he's scoring the debate in favor of President Bush. And the next one that we will see is by Charles Krauthammer, who's another political commentator. Used to be a liberal, and over the since that between then and now, he's converted to conservatism. He's become a conservative commentator. But let's take a look at their analysis of the debate, because I think it's going to at least give us a starting point for talking about how you go about evaluating arguments, because after all, what's going on in, what was going on in the 1988 presidential debate between George Bush and Michael Dukakis was very similar to what goes on in arguments in general, and maybe we can get some insight. So what I want you to do, the examples are on page 10 and 11 in the book, but we can take a look at them over here, is I want you to read first Kilpatrick's comment, and then we will turn to Krauthammer's comment. We'll take a look at that, make some notes, and then we'll move on to the next one. Or actually, we're going to read this one together and then move on to the next one. Okay, now you've had a chance to write down, stop the recording and write down some notes. Let's take a look at Kilpatrick's article. Bush on points. It was a close match, but in watching Sunday night's bloodless fray between George Bush and Michael Dukakis, I scored it 12-8 for Bush. The vice president came across as a man who pays a decent respect to Rule 6, this being the maxim that goes as follows: don't take yourself too damn seriously. Dukakis may have a sense of humor, but it hasn't been visible thus far. The gentleman is very serious. He's also very composed and very articulate. He is very almost everything, but he is not very appealing. Dukakis has a way of smiling with his mouth, but not with his eyes. Like a poorly thawed sweet roll, he's still frozen in the middle. The value in these engagements lies in the opportunity they provide for the judgments of character. Is the candidate an attractive person? Would you feel comfortable with him in the Oval Office? Never mind his views on subsidy for wheat and corn. The question is, do you like the guy? Do you trust him? My impression was that Bush looked sure of himself and Dukakis looked too sure of himself. Bush exhibited the mature self-confidence of a man who's not afraid to kid an institution. Is it time for our one-liners? Dukakis got off his prepared jabs with the ease of a Johnny Carson who has memorized his midnight monologue. Bush was better. Okay, there you have it. Kilpatrick's comments. And if you haven't done so, take some notes. What are the main points he's making? How is he criticizing? How is he evaluating the debate? And with that, let's also take a look at Krauthammer's response or Krauthammer's opinion.